are you? The smart one? The funny one? The lawyer? The father of three? When I was 6 years old, I went to my first audition. It was an audition into a dancing school. And they were giving us different exercises, hop like this, jump like that, can you clap in the rhythm? Everything was fine and smooth until the very end. They asked us to do a split, which I couldn't do. I cried and ran away because I thought that means I'm doomed. Good news, they took me in anyway. And just like that, I became a dancer. Because what started as a hobby, as something you make sure your kids do so they don't just roam the streets when they're older, became my first love. And till this day, I say that one lasts forever. I ended up dancing all the way through to high school. I was doing it 5 times a week in 2 different clubs, in 2 different cities, to be honest. Bless my amazing mom who was driving me from one practice to the other. I was at the height. I feel very blessed because in dancing I feel like I have touched the limits of my potential. Because at that age of 18, 19, I was at the front and center of every choreography we had. That is how I fell in love with performing and stage. That's why big stages feel like home. I had people asking me if I'm going to pursue dancing as a career and I'll study it at uni, which, to be fair, was never my dream. My idea was to keep dancing as a hobby for as long as humanly possible, which in my teenage mind was hopefully into my 30s, maybe 40s if I'm lucky. But all of these people didn't know one thing. I saw my first orthopedic surgeon when I was 15 because my knees started to hurt. And that's pretty weird when you're 15. That's like, no, that shouldn't happen. Let's examine. But because I saw a surgeon immediately, what do surgeons do? They cut, right? Exactly, they cut. So the surgeon said, well, I can't tell what's wrong, so we might as well open up to see what's inside. To which I was like, no, thank you very much. I don't want to have my knees cut open just to see. So I didn't see him again, but those problems didn't go away. But everything I was doing so that I can keep dancing. Even when I was learning skiing, the trainer was telling me, you're doing really well, now you can go faster. I'm like, I know, but I don't want to go faster. Because what I see in my mind is me tumbling in the trees and breaking my limbs, and then I couldn't dance for a few weeks. And that was the biggest catastrophe. Well, unfortunately, by the age of 18, 19, I was fine walking when the floor was flat. But upstairs, I couldn't really walk without holding on to handrails, to the railings. I was at the same pace like my grandma. Sometimes my knees would just give up and I would fall in practice. And these signs I couldn't ignore anymore. Eventually, after one training, I was telling my teacher that this was my last lesson and I won't be coming back. And I cried so much. She was so scared. She thought something horrible must have happened, like someone died or something. But that was my first heartbreak. It really felt like one because I felt lost. Who am I now without this thing? I even made a little video. You know, back in the 90s, I made it from PowerPoint with old photos of me dancing. I slapped a sad song on top of it, and I was watching that. It's like, that's my dancing career. Just to have some closure. That was the first time I experienced how an identity became the source of my confidence, of the sense of success. And then suddenly, who am I when the thing that I'm good at disappears? Well, I was lucky because it was just one pillar of my life, right? Everything else was flying normally. So it's relatively easy, apart from the fact that I gained like 6 or 8 kilos or so in the next year because I couldn't move. I could focus on my studies. I still had friends. I was living with my mom and dad. So you rebuild, right? You start focusing on other things. And eventually, after about 2 years, I could start dancing for fun at least, which is why I now dance salsa every now and then, just to have some fun. And have touch, be in touch with that love. I'm talking about identity because we don't even know, we don't realize how it happens. Nagesh was talking about that very similarly, that unconscious expectation of success and the box that we put ourselves into as if it's permanent. And he already told you it's not, so we know that. So I built a life, and over 10 years, I built a life that I was very happy with. My sister just had her first baby, and I would visit them at least twice a week to be with them. And friends-wise, I had a fantastic friends group. So I'm organizing dinner parties with various groups of people, and it's always fun. There's always a theme, something like SpeakEasy, just, a little more alcohol and dancing maybe. And work-wise, I'm pumped because I'm already facilitating, coaching, delivering full-day workshops, and when I do that, I'm like an alternator. Like I give energy and it keeps coming back because I love talking to people and listening to them and do this, which is why I was able to deliver over 20 days of full-day workshops a month, on and on and on, even though most people have a full hard stop at 12, maybe 15 if they push themselves. I'm just like in my element in it, and my calendar gets booked because people call me if I want to do something, so business feels really easy. I'm like on top of the world. And here, at this fantastic point, I did something that maybe many of you can relate to. I moved to this country. So back home, I was a sister and daughter, which I was not here. My family stayed in Europe. I was a friend. I had no friends here to carry me through. I had my work that I loved so much. Well, when I came here, I was 7 months pregnant with my first baby. So I had no career or reputation here to build on. And with the new baby, no chance in sight to rebuild it again. I will tell you, suddenly I felt really small. Really small. And I was thinking, how am I a success now to these people? And that's the trap that I fell into. As if I have to have that identity, that role for someone else to be validated, to get it checked. Yes, that's it, you're there, you're good, right? You're the good girl. Over the next year, I studied that advanced coaching diploma, and there I learned that the science shows that when we set our goals for success, we don't actually want the goals. Have you heard that? You actually don't want your goals. Haha. What we actually want is the feeling that we expect the goal to give us. So if you dream to become a pilot, if you dream to become the lawyer, there's always an unconscious expectation. So I delve into that. When I was a friend, or in those relationships, I felt safe and loved and accepted. At dancing, I felt free and self-expressed and authentic. And at work, I felt confident, validated, and useful. Those feelings were what I really missed. And here, ladies and gentlemen, I have the best news of the day for you. You want to know? All of the feelings that we have, that we expect, live in our own body. So they're always accessible at any point. And right now, I will show you exactly how it works, if you're willing to play with me. If you're safe there online, you can close your eyes as well, but if you're driving, please don't. And if you feel comfortable here, please lower your gaze just for a moment, or close your eyes. Nothing will happen in this room, I promise, nothing's changing. This is all about you. And just for a moment, I invite you to think of the one thing that you really want. What is it specifically? And play that movie in your mind of that last final confirming moment when you can tell you've arrived. It's real. Notice what you see through your own eyes as you've achieved the success, the goal. Notice the colors. Who is there with you? What do you hear as you've arrived at that destination? Maybe there are other words from other people coming to you. Or you're talking to yourself. Yes, finally, I knew it. What is it that you tell yourself as you're celebrating your success right now? And notice how this feels in your body. Maybe there's lightness in your chest, or tingling, sense of spaciousness, expansion. Maybe there's vibration, warmth, or peace. Just notice exactly the blueprint of success in your own body. How your body responds, your cells, the space between your cells. And just now, focus on the feeling solely. And with the next breath, allow it to get stronger and expand. With the next breath, let it expand into your entire body. Maybe even beyond your body, if that feels comfortable. Just notice. And from this place, you can let ideas arise, images come to you, inspiration. If we were somewhere else, I would have you now have time to write it all down. But for right now, remember that feeling in your body. And only when it's comfortable with the next breath, please slowly open your eyes. Is anyone willing to tell me how it made you feel? What is the feeling that you had? Gratitude. Thank you. Peace. Yeah. Thank you. Notice that nothing changed on the outside. And yet, the feelings are completely real here and now. Because what happens if we're only chasing success and goals as something external, expecting the feelings to arrive? We're attached and we're desperate. And we're pushing and we put pressure on those goals and on the success having to happen. What happens when you flip it on the inside, flip it around and take this inside-out approach, is that you're already aligned and clear. And actually, you can usually achieve your success and goals easier. Because you're not attached, you're not desperate for it to happen. You know you can feel peaceful and grateful and successful and amazing right now, regardless of your goals or success on the outside, regardless of that identity. It's you. It's always been you. So our feelings are the back door to the success identity. And what a relief that is. Actually, there is no identity list to build. There is no checklist to tick off. there's your feeling that is available right now. So I welcome you to evoke it. Let yourself evoke it anytime you feel frustrated or annoyed that it's not happening or impatient. Because that, my friend, is your true identity.